Join us for Dateline 48, a presentation of the News and Public Affairs Department of WAFF-TV. Now, here's your host.
Hello, I'm Jenny Thompson, your host today on Dateline 48. Today we'll be talking with Ken Turvey, who's the conductor and musical director of the Huntsville Community Chorus, and Edna Clay, who is the performance coordinator and the assistant director of the Huntsville Community Chorus. We're going to be talking about some of the exciting performances they have coming up this season right after this message. Welcome back to Dateline 48. I'm talking with Ken Turvey and Edna Clay with the Huntsville Community Chorus. This is your 36th season in the chorus.
Right. That's
right. Tell us a little bit about this season. What's it going to be consisting of? There's a lot of performances coming up, right?
Right. Well, as usual, we have 4 concerts, really 3 concerts and a fully staged musical. You might remember our very successful Oklahoma performance last May.
Oh, yeah.
This year we're going to do South Pacific. But we have our series concerts. The first one coming up is October the 24th, and we're celebrating the birthday of the United Nations, and that is United Nations Day. So we're having what we call an international night, and we've invited some groups from Huntsville who are involved from the different countries. Edna, you want to tell us a little bit about some of those groups?
All right, we have 12 different ethnic groups in Huntsville that are, in different, together. And we have Korean, Japanese, Chinese, British, French, Spanish, Brazilian, several from the various countries, from Nigeria. And so we have asked representatives from some of these groups to perform that night. And we have a group, for instance, from Jamaica that's going to dance. And we have some girls from India who are going to dance. We have a group from Germany that's going to sing. Kaiho de Serbo is going to sing some Finnish folk songs. A girl in the chorus, Virginia Dabbs, is going to sing some Spanish songs. A group from Nigeria is going to perform, and hopefully a group from Japan. And
wow.
So we think it's very, the Cloggers are going to do the American part.
Aren't you in the Cloggers?
My husband is.
Oh. You're part of the family.
Right.
You're in the square dancing group.
That's right.
The chorus is going to be singing several things that night too, right?
Yes, right. For the American segment, we're going to do a fun thing by Randall Thompson. It's entitled American Mercury. The American Mercury was a national magazine some 25, 30 years ago. And Randall Thompson took newspaper articles out of this and set them to music. For instance, the first one is about modernism, and some minister out in Seattle, Washington makes some pronouncement, about anybody saying anything about modernism from this pulpit should be, slaughtered. Then the second one is about, is sort of like Ann Landers. They ask questions, what should I do about my stolen jewelry, and then they sign their initials. And all this is put to music. The third one is about the temperance, God's bottles, how you should drink the fruit of the vine from the apple, rather than from the bottle. And then the last one is Lovely Lines by Edna Nethery, who resides in California. And it's just tremendously funny to sing, and lots of fun to sing. The ending line is, you can send in, it gives her address, and $1 is what it costs. In the French segment, we're going to do 3 French songs from a larger work called The Lark by Leonard Bernstein. This was originally background music for a play on Broadway about Joan of Arc called The Lark.
Right, I remember that.
Yeah.
We have a recording of that we're going to play later in the show, too.
Oh, yeah, good, yeah. And so we're doing, the first one is about looking forward to the coming of spring. The second one is let's see, what's that about? I forgot, it's a soprano solo. I've forgotten what it's about.
It's about spring also.
Yeah, I guess so. And then the third one is a soldier's march, and we whistle in that. We're having great fun whistling. It's harder to whistle than you think, especially on a high pitch, which is what we have to do. So we even have to practice the whistling. Then we're doing an Italian piece called The Echo Song of De Lasso, this is from the classical period. And let's see what else. Oh, we're doing a group of Hungarian folk songs and they're all unaccompanied. So it's a varied program.
It sounds like an interesting program. We're gonna take a little look at some of the songs from that show a little later on. But you want to talk now maybe about some of the other performances, because I know you have several other things coming up this year.
Right. Well, our Christmas concert this year is going to be at the Huntsville High School. The first concert, incidentally, is at the Von Braun Civic Center in the concert hall.
What's the date of that concert?
October 21st.
Okay.
It's on a 24th. That's right. You're right. On a Saturday night at 8:15, and then on December 11th, which is a Friday night, we'll be performing at the Huntsville High School. We haven't been performed in the Huntsville High School in years, but the main work is a thing called A Day for Dancing by Lloyd Fouch, who is on the faculty at Southern Methodist University, and he's collected 13th and 14th century carols and put them to music, and it has dancing with it and light instrumentation, oboe, bassoon, flute, and percussion. Yeah.
Dancing with? Are you going to actually have the dance?
Yeah, we're going to have some dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, we're going to do our fourth annual Sing Along Messiah?
Third annual.
Third annual. We do it at where Edna is director of music at the First Presbyterian Church. And that's on the last Sunday in December.
Okay. We're going to talk about all of those performances a little more in just a minute, but we have to take a break now. We'll be back with more Dateline 48 after this message.
We need to go back to the...
Welcome back to Dateline 48. I'm still talking with Edna Clay and Ken Turvey of the Huntsville Community Chorus. Before we get into a little more about the chorus, we might want to go in and take a look at our first tape. If you'll set this up, as they say on Johnny Carson.
Okay, this is one of the 3 folk songs that we're doing based on Hungarian tunes, and this is the first of the 3, and I think the words are obvious. It's about John Brown.
Okay, let's take a look at that now. And that was just one example from your fall concert, October the 24th. That was John Brown. Right.
That's handsome John Brown.
Handsome John Brown, okay.
Shiny brown boots.
What about, you missed one part of that first concert when you were describing it, the credo. Tell us about that.
Well, a few years ago, one of my choir members, who is from Brazil, came to me with a record of this credo by Dom Pedro I of Brazil. And the music was found in 1970, someplace in a museum in Brazil, and it was performed there. And this will be the first performance in the United States. And Dom Pedro was from Portugal, and Portugal was ruled Brazil. And he was born in 1798. And then during the time of Napoleon, when Napoleon was overrunning this part of Europe, why Dom Pedro and his father came to Brazil, and they ruled from Brazil, ruled Portugal. And then his father went back, after Waterloo, went back to Portugal, and Dom Pedro stayed as the prince for Brazil. Well, anyway, Dom Pedro decided that Brazil should be an independent country. And anyway, while he was there, he wrote this credo, and it is a delightful piece of music. It is so much fun because the singer is very straightforward, classical type of music. He was a great follower of Rossini, but Don Pedro also played the clarinet. So he had to find some places in this with a clarinet. So the chorus sings this very straight music, and all of a sudden you hear this little clarinet coming in with a fancy tune, and it is a delightful piece of music. One of the soprano solos in this is based on a Brazilian folk tune, and so I know everybody will enjoy it. Even though it's religious music, it's very light religious music. I'll put it that way in sound.
Yeah, it goes along, you know, it's sort of in a classical style, and then all of a sudden you hear a little Latin rhythm.
And this will have a small orchestra, 18 pieces.
Something like that.
Uh-huh. And so I think that people will enjoy it very much. And we're excited because this is the first time in this country for it to be performed.
It sounds like it's going to be absolutely
Well, we
delightful.
had a hard time, Jenny, because Larry and Inezia went to Brazil last Christmas, and they got the vocal score, except all of the different parts are on different sheets of music. And so one of the chorus members had to put all of this together. Then they worked for 9 months trying to get the orchestra parts, and they have come.
Who worked on this? We might as well give them credit.
Larry Holland and Inezia Holland, his wife. And Inezia is from Brazil, and they both lived there for several years while Larry was teaching.
And Pat Moorfield did beautiful manuscript work for putting it together on the 4 parts.
And then Ken has the conductor score. The paper is like this, and on this there must be 10 stabs, aren't there? And the notes are so small, there's no way he can read them. But they sent them anyway, so.
It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. October the 24th?
24th,
Okay, I just want to keep mentioning that in case people just tuned in.
And the tickets are $7, and for adults, $5 for students, and they are reserved seats. So anyone who is interested in tickets can call Tom Yarborough, our ticket chairman, or can call the Arts Council for information, or can call Ken or me for information if they would like to know about tickets.
Okay, well, while we're talking about tickets, season tickets too, because some people may want to buy season tickets for the whole business.
Well, of course, it's much cheaper that way to buy, and you also get first crack at the reserved seats for both the concert and the South Pacific. And of course, South Pacific is the one that draws more people.
Right, there's always a big demand for tickets on those musicals.
And the other thing is we are having a reception for season ticket holders and for chorus members and guests after the first concert. And if they have a season ticket, they can come to the reception, which is
And we're inviting people to wear their international dress if they have, you know, some native dress.
We have 100 of the students who are out at the Redstone Arsenal who are from different countries we know are coming. They've already have their tickets, as a matter of fact.
Who had this idea? This sounds like a great idea to have all the international flavor to this concert and bring in the groups. Is it just a...
Well, we have a music planning committee to toss around ideas, mainly to sort of, you know, to feed in some ideas that I would never think of. And we had several other things, a number of things we talked about. And then we came up with this, and it just seemed to fit in this season. That's
the date just was perfect. We did not plan it to be a United Nations Day, and it just was. So it was just fine.
That's great. The chorus is a rather well-organized group now. How long has it been in the area? Many years, I know.
Well, we're the oldest performing group, and I guess we trace it back 36 years. And of course, the chorus has not been organized that long. I mean, as we are now with the full board and executive committee and all that. But yeah, it has involved through the years a number of people throughout the community, well, and throughout North Alabama.
We're going to take a look at that other song in a minute, but first we have to take a break. We'll be back with Dateline 48 after this. Welcome back to Dateline 48. I'm your host, Jenny Thompson. I'm talking with Ken Turvey, who is conductor and musical director of the Huntsville Community Chorus, and Edna Clay, who is performance coordinator and assistant director of the Community Chorus. I wanted to get that in again so people would know who I'm talking with. Before we do anything else, I want to make sure we get in this other piece of music that we have recorded. Now, can someone explain what it is? Because I'm not that familiar with it.
Okay, this is the Soldier Song from The Lark, written by Leonard Bernstein, which was background music originally on Broadway for the play, The Story of Joan of Arc, called The Lark.
Okay, let's take a look at that.
Viva la jaune, 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 jolly, 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 la la la, jolly, 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 la la la, oh jolly, jolly, jaune. Viva la jaune, jolly, jolly, jaune, jolly, 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 la la la, jolly, 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 la la la, oh jolly, jolly, jaune. Viva la jaune.
That was a little bit unusual. Is it hard to teach people to whistle like that?
Yes, it has
Yes.
been. It has been difficult to do, especially that high. People normally apparently don't whistle that high. I know I tried it myself. I couldn't do it either. And I had fussed at him the week before.
Yeah, we thought that would be the easiest thing,
Yeah,
thing to
yeah.
teach.
I know I'd have a hard time doing that. Tell me, you have another concert that we haven't even talked about coming up, right? The King David. Tell me about that.
Okay.
Well, King David is by the French composer Arthur Honegger, and it is a series of short musical numbers with narration, and it starts with King David as a boy. In fact, the first solo is sung by a boy representing David out tending the sheep, and then goes through the story of David. It's very exciting music. It's mildly dissonant, but has a lot of very luscious harmony in it. It'll be accompanied by organ and piano and percussion and some brass instruments.
Now, when is this concert?
Well, this concert is February 21st, and this will be in the sanctuary at the First Methodist Church, primarily so we have the background of the tremendous pipe organ there.
Oh, yeah, that's beautiful. Well, let's jump back to the Christmas concert for just a minute. I wanted to ask you, do you have some kind of special guest? And we've got to bring them
Right,
out.
the Johnson Chorale is going to sing on this program. Huntsville is blessed with 4 excellent choral departments in the high schools, Butler, Lee, Johnson, and Grissom. And this year, Huntsville High itself is having a new music department. But Johnson Chorale last year up in Nashville was named the outstanding choral group in the Southeast. And so they're going to be our guests this year at the Christmas concert. And,
Yeah, we're hoping to honor the high school groups each year. We're sorry it takes 4 years to do it.
Right.
But,
If someone wanted to see all of these, again, we talked about season tickets, but do we talk about the price?
No, okay.
Okay.
All right, the senior citizens and students, and that's full-time students, are $14. The season ticket is $14.
For all of them? That's not bad at all.
No, it's not. And then $18 for regular memberships. Then we have a sponsoring membership, and I get them confused, but one of them is $25, and the other is $50. One's the sponsoring and one's sustaining.
In other words, if someone wants to really contribute,
Right,
that's what they would do.
right. And they, you know, much of that is, of course, a tax-deductible donation.
And how can they get these again?
Okay, they can contact Tom Yarborough, who is the ticket chairman, and he would be glad to, you know, talk to them about the tickets. They can contact the Arts Council. We have brochures, and they have them at the Arts Council, and they could pick them up there. Or if someone forgets Tom, they could call Ken or me, and we'd be glad to give them Tom's phone number and address and so forth.
Okay. Let me ask you something else. Excuse me, talking about all this music that you're going to be doing during the year, what if someone wanted to join and had never been in the community chorus? What are the qualifications? How do they join?
well, we require that they have some experience one way or another. Sometimes emphasizing the vocal aspect, other times the reading abilities if they've come from an instrumental background. They should be singing in another group or doing
choir,
some other
something
singing.
like
Right,
that.
a church choir is ideal because that means they're at least rehearsing one more time a week and on Sunday. Of course, this is a rough schedule because the chorus sometimes rehearses twice a week. But to expect the voice to to be used that much, and not used more than just once a week is too much. I have a very simple, quiet, relaxed interview with each member. Normally, we have auditions in August, and usually I have 25 to 30, sometimes more than that, who audition for the chorus each year. And sometimes we take sopranos and altos in the middle during the year if I need them.
Need somebody in that
But
section.
normally I don't need them. But I do take tenors and baritones or basses any time during the year. Of course, usually if it's too close to a concert. Now, for instance, I would not allow anyone to come in now.
Right.
But we like for people to sing the whole season.
So all those tenors and baritones out there, take
Yeah.
note. Thank you. It's time to come in for the Christmas concert or for the
Right.
Yes,
concerts, yeah.
that would be the soonest we could take
The
anyone.
26th of October would be
26th
the
of
first rehearsal for that concert.
Okay, we have to go back through all these all the time. I'm getting confused because there's 4 different.
There are
4
3
different concerts.
concerts and then the musical.
Okay, can you run through those just real quickly,
I
one
sure
more
can.
time for
The
people
Night of
who-
International Music, October the 25th, and that's in the Von Braun Civic Center. The tickets are $7 and $5. And then the Christmas concert is called A Day for Dancing. That is December the 11th at Huntsville High School, and the tickets are $5 and $3. And King David by Arthur Honegger is in First United Methodist Church, February the 21st, and that's by donation. And then the musical is South Pacific. I almost forgot what it was. And that's April 30th and May 1st. That's Friday night. There's a Saturday afternoon matinee and a Saturday night performance. And the tickets for that are $8 and $6. And for the 3 concerts in the Civic Center and in the high school, those are reserved seats. And then, of course, the one in the church is not reserved seats.
Right. Oh, and while I'm thinking about it, I just came back to this idea. If someone did want to join the chorus, when would they need to practice and that sort of thing, just so people would have an idea?
Well, we practice on Monday nights, starting at 7:30 at the Faith Presbyterian Church, which is at the corner of Airport Road and Whitesburg Drive. And occasionally, usually 2 to 3 Thursdays, in preparation for a concert.
Do you think it's unusual for a community like Huntsville to have a chorus of this size and this much enthusiasm?
Yes, yes, it is. There are some different choruses throughout Alabama, as far as that goes, but there aren't very many throughout the country.
So we're lucky. We'll be back in just a moment with more Dateline 48. My guests today on Dateline 48 have been Ken Turvey and Edna Clay with the Huntsville Community Chorus. I'd like to thank you both for being here with us today.
We
Thank you,
enjoyed
we
it.
enjoyed it.
And we'll be looking forward to those concerts, all of them that you have throughout the year. And that first one again is October 24th.
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 I got mixed up this
At what
time.
time?
8:15.
Thank you for joining us.